It's a shortcut for formatting. Net pay. What is net pay? So you got the gross pay, you got the income, and you have to deduct the tax and the other insurance payment, right? You want to know how much you're receiving at the end in your hand. You don't want to know the before tax income, because at the end you have to pay all this money. You need to know how much you're exactly receiving in order to make some decision. Suppose I want to buy a house, or I want to buy a new car, or I want to change something, for example, a huge a new renovation in your house, right? You need to know exact how much you're earning, how much you're receiving, in order to allocate your income in different project, or budgeting your income basically. So for that, you need to know the gross pay, which is C3 minus your total deduction. You will get your net pay. Again, remember that plus sign. When you select that, you can do the plus sign. When you go to the corner, remember a corner where there will be a dark red black plus sign will appear. You can double click on that. I prefer the shortcut, which is Control C. You copy the rest of them and just press enter. That will follow the function, and that will do the referencing. In order to see the function, remember you press F2 and you can escape. Alternatively, suppose I want to keep the function visible in my eye, right? You can press equal, call formula text. Do you see this function? Excel has a lot of functions: statistical function, engineering function, different trigonometry function. So this is one of the functions called formula text. You click on it and you select the cell, close the bracket. Now you can see the function. You don't have to press F2 anymore, because F2, what happens, you have to press on there, the cell where you calculated the value, and you press F2, you will see the function on the cell that where you have calculated. But if you don't want, I can keep the function on a different cell, which is basically equal to formula text. I will write down the formula. This is called formula text and the cell. Any question? So far, we were doing referencing, right? This referencing was C3 minus F3, right? This is called absolute referencing. What is absolute referencing? It could be like, for example, $C, just to give you C, $C4 or $C4, or it could be absolute referencing, $C4. These are different options of blocking, fixing the cell. Because here what is happening? When we move, my C and my rows are moving, right? My rows are changing, right? If we want to fix it, we have to fix it with this dollar sign. the dollar sign fix each one of them. So for example here, this is fixing column but not row. This is fixing row 3 but not the column, and this is fixing a particular value. Now let's look at example, right? So for example, I have a value, suppose 125. I have a value of 50. I have a value, for example, 60. Then I have in another cell, this is data, for example, data of the age of people. I have another cell called maybe the height, 75, 73. Or maybe not the age, this is called mean. And this is a variance of a stock. Maybe I can say 1.45, 2.55, 3, 6.23. Now, I am trying to calculate, suppose, fixing it. For example, I want to fix a particular cell, right? So for example, equals to, I want to calculate the mean of this year. So this is the mean, and suppose the industry average is 25. I want to ensure that this industry average is added every time for this column. Let me give you a better example. So I can calculate it equals to this plus I want to include this one, right? If I do it and if I try to copy that, what's happening? Is it adding 25 to any one of them? It added for the first one. But for this one, did it add? It went down. I don't have any input. Do I have any input? No. It becomes 0. For this one, where did it go? It added here. I don't have any entry. I want to fix it. So you can fix it either now. You can fix the column. If you fix the column, suppose $sign, and I copy that down, and I copy that down. Still, what's happening? I fixed E, but I didn't fix the row. So it was still moving down. I don't have any input there. I went down. I fixed the column, but it didn't help because there is no data. So what should I do? I have to block the row as well, which is 16. When I block that, and now I copy it down, and now I copy it down. Now when I look at, press F2 and see the function, which I fixed it, go down. Now you can see when I block both E and the row, it is recognizing only one value, and this is called absolute referencing. So that $sign helps you to fix the number. Any question? Go down and press F2. You will see that industry average mean, which I had to add to each of the value, is considering the industry average to be fixed. It is not moving through cell. This is called fixing the reference, okay? And fixing the reference, you have to do it with the dollar sign in front of the row, which is C, and in front of the, which is the column and the row, the exact cell.
Wait, can you show us again? Like, what if you don't put the block for the E?
If you don't block for the E,
Yeah.
okay, for here, even if you don't block for the E, okay, let's do it. And then copy down, right? Because E is not moving here, it's not a problem. Let's go through an example where blocking the E would be a problem. For example, let me show you now. For example, I have to add an industry average, right? Which is in different columns. For example, industry A has the average of 20, industry B has the average of 30, industry C has an average of 60. I need to add each one of them with each row. For example, this one, this is the mean for, I invested in stock A, which is in industry A. I invested in stock B, which falls under industry B. I invested in stock C, which is in industry C. So I have to do it in relevant column. I have to take the relevant column. So this one is fine. This one would not be fine anymore, because what will it happen? It will take the E16 as fixed, right? I need to change the E, right? So here I need to fix F, right? And for this one, I need to select G, right? So for this example, when you do it, fixing the column would not be appropriate, right? But there would be example where, because here the rows are important, but there would be cases where you need to fix the column and not the rows. For example, now let me see. Suppose I have variances 2, 3, 5. I need to add the industry variances with this one. So for example, equals to this plus this. It has to be, when I copy this one, control right, what is it happening? So this one, F2, it calculated with this one, 2 plus 1.43. This one should have been, so F2 again, it copied this one, F18, but is added G11. I don't want it to be G11. I want it to be F12. So this value will be added to F12 and this value should be added to F13. So what I need to do? Fixing the F. So for this one, so instead, and this one, look at here, it referred to here. When you're adding in the rows, you have to fix the column. When you're adding by the column, you have to fix the rows. That's where the column fixing and the row fixing comes. Yes.
Wait, is there a shortcut, or you have to fix it manually each time you change it?
You can do it at the very beginning. So when I add it, right, I have to fix, let's fix it from the very beginning, equals to, this is E18, right? And I'm adding to F11, right? When I add F11, make sure that there is a $sign before, not 11, but before F. Because if I put 11, then it will fix the F11 here, and it will add 1.43 to all of the values. I don't want that. I want to add each of the values to each of this. So I will fix the column and I will move. Now look at the call function. So here it is selecting F, it is fixing the F, but it is also fixing the row. So usually it has to be by the number. So for example, it's fixing the column and the cell. Okay. When you have multiple metrics, then it will be easier for you. You will learn it in the amortization table. So learn how to fix the cell. Now let's move to the APR, the time value of money. So the present value formula is known as the discounted value of the future value. Suppose in future you're receiving the value of a company as 100,000. You need to discount it to the present value based on the interest rate, which is known as the discount rate, the number of times it will be discounted, right? And for how many years you're considering the future value. So this is the function. So remember this present value formula. The alternative is future value. If you are calculating the future value, then present value will be multiplied with the discount rate, or basically you are finding the future cash value. In Excel, the function is known as present value. If you're calculating the future value, present value into rate and per payment and future value. Let's look at it, okay? So here, the question is, we are calculating, you know the annual percentage rate, and you're calculating the effective annual rate. This is called the annual percentage rate, which is 6%, right? If it is compounded 1 year, what will be the effective annual rate? If it is compounded 6 months, how many payments are you receiving? 2 times, right? 2 times your interest rate is being processed. What will be the effective interest rate, and what would be for the quarter, monthly, and if it happens compounding daily. So you can do it by the formula, which is 1 plus, what is your interest rate? This by the number of year, bracket closed, to the power your number of compounding, right? We put an extra bracket, and then we subtract 1 to calculate the effective interest rate. So for yearly, if it is compounded only once, it is 6%, right? I always fail to find that plus sign. This one. If you double click the plus sign, you will find the value. Now, what mistake did I do? Tell me, when I was talking about referencing. The C5, do you remember here? What was the APR? 6%, which is here at C4. When I'm going below, what is my interest rate is being considered? C5. C5 is not a number, it's a header, it's a text, right? Go down. Every time it is taking a different value for my annual percentage rate. So remember, again, I'm saying you have to block it, and block it with a $sign. And now you can copy it down below.
block.
So now when I see every time the annual percentage rate remains same, this is called referencing. Remember, now, when we're doing more compounding, the interest rate increases. Can you see it? If it is compounded twice in a year, then the interest rate is 6.09. If it is compounded quarterly 4 times in a year, then the interest rate becomes 6.13. If it is compounded monthly every year, then it will be 6.17%. And if it is compounded daily, it is 6.18%. So the higher the compounding, the annual percentage rate increases. Effective interest rate would increase. So if you're saving, the more compounding, the more interest you would earn. If you are borrowing and the more compounding is happening, that means you are going to pay more. Okay? So if you're saving, you earn more for more compounding. But if you're taking a loan for more compounding, you're paying more to the bank, right? Or the financial institution. Any question with this formula? Okay. Now we move to the present value, because we have a little bit short time. So present value. The first question, you want to be a millionaire in 30 years. You go to the bank and learn you can get a 10% annual return, compounding monthly. How much do you need to deposit in account today, right? So they're asking what amount you need in, how much you need to invest today. So I don't know the present value, but in future value, what am I getting? The future value, I'm getting becoming 1 millionaire, right? A millionaire. How much? What's the value? 100,000, right? Now, if you're confused with this value, press Control A, Control 1, jet number, use separator. That gives you an understanding. Okay, I recorded the right value. My interest rate is 10%, right? How many years? So it is compounding annually, compounding monthly, right? Number of years, 30 years. Sorry, number of compounding is 12. Number of years is 30, okay? So it has been said, number of compounding period per year is 12. Number of years, it is mentioned, I want to be a millionaire in 30 years. The main thing is inputting all the value in the Excel sheet, right? This is the data that I have been provided, okay, from the question. First thing, rate, I divided by N. What is my I? What is my I? 10% divided by my number of period, which is number of compounding. What do you say? Which is N. So I divided by N is 12. So this is the interest rate that I'm paying monthly, right? Now, total number of compounding. How many interest I will be paying? So this is basically 12 number of years and number of compounding. So 360, right? Now I got it. I will be calculating based on the formula and based on the function that Excel has. So equals to, my future value is this one divided by 1 plus this is the interest rate that I'm getting, to the power compounding, number of compounding. This is the value, present value. In order to be a millionaire in 30 years, I have to save $50,409. The second is function equals to PV. There is a function. If you press PV, select it. Rate. What is my rate? This is the rate of interest that I am earning every month. N par is the total number of payments that I will be receiving. Payment, no payment, basically zero, because it's an at the end. There's no payment in the middle. Future value is I want to be a millionaire. Type, we don't type anything, that's an optional. Type is basically saying whether you're receiving a payment, monthly payment at the beginning or at the end. We are not receiving any payment. We save a lump sum at the very beginning, 50,000, and at the end we are getting a $1 million. You close it and you press enter. Now you see 50,000, the same value, right? One is in green, one is in red. What does it mean? Red means it's a cash outflow, right? Here we just we calculated the number. We didn't look for direction. Cash flow, payment, these follow direction, right? Negative cash flow means out, we are spending, and positive cash flow means we are getting. So any function that you will use in the Excel, it will have a direction, okay? But the value means same. So for this template, rest of them is your exercise. Do it at home because they follow the same structure. Do you see it same? Payment, same, N per, and rate. These all follow the same structure. We will move to the amortization table. Because this is something you need for your assignment. I don't want to stick with the time value of money. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll be here for the next, even after your session ends, I'll be here for the next 15 minutes available. We want to focus on the amortization table right now because you have an assignment. Can you read the question? So you want to buy a house, $500,000 penthouse condo at North York Center. You did your research and the best deal for the competing mortgage. So you want to buy a house called, how much is it? $500,000, right? So keep on inputting the value. Again, if you're not sure, Control 1. Remember, this is currency, and or even if it is number, make sure that you use the separator. Or if you want to make it a currency, that is also fine. Currency, $sign. Now, what is the interest rate? Interest rate is using the table below, calculate the total monthly payment for each payment period. Show the beginning and ending balance, the principal, graph it, be sure to label it. Okay? So we have been told there is a much more question. So the interest rate, suppose you assume 2.99%. You input it. You will be given in the question. Okay? And you assume 2.99% will remain constant. Okay, this is the question here. The question is here actually. Why the question doesn't show properly? This is the question. It's there. Okay. It doesn't just show it here. Here. If you go there, The mortgage is for 25 years and the compounded is monthly and 2.99%. Okay. So let me input the values. So loan term, number of years, 25 years. It is being compounded 12 monthly. Total payments would be n plus into x, which is for 25 years. It is compounded for 12 times. So this multiplied by this, that's your total number of payments. Period is how much period rate is monthly, how much you're paying. This is your annual rate, which is 2.99%, and you're paying every month, which is this one. Press enter. This is your monthly interest rate that you're paying. Your future value. So amortization means you borrowed 500,000 from the bank. What is it? At the end of the 25 years, you will be zero. You don't owe anything to the bank. That is your goal. That is the amortization, right? So the future value will be zero. That's the mortgage. That's how the mortgage planning is. Now, your first target is what? Calculating the payment, right? How much would be the mortgage payment? So equals to payment. You click on payment. What is the rate? Rate is the period rate that you have calculated. N par is the total number of period that you will be paying. So 300 months you will be paying. Present value of your loan is 500,000 and future value is basically zero, right? I don't care whether my mortgage payment is at the beginning of the month or end of the month. It is irrelevant or it is optional for this calculation. Close the bracket, calculate. What is the payment? Mortgage rate, mortgage amount, $2,368.4846. This is the monthly amount you will be paying. Now, how many period that you will be paying? 300, right? So we begin with 0, right? 0 month. This is my beginning. My balance is equals to, this is the amount of loan that I have taken. First thing, I need to calculate 300 periods for the bottom, right? So what I will do, I select there. Do you see this series under the tab home? You go there. This is called series. Select series. I want to do for this column B, I want to step from 1 to 300 because I have 300 payments, and I press OK. Any question? So go to this. It is under the summation. Select series. Select column because I'm only going to do for column B number of months. Select 1 and then select 300 and press OK. So now when you go down, you see I have 300 payments, right? 300 months. Now my beginning balance from next month is equals to the ending balance of the previous period. Total payment is equal to absolute value of this payment. Remember, the payment is a cash outflow. I need just the number here. I don't need the cash flow, inflow or outflow, just the number. So that's why I put an absolute value. Absolute value turns the negative value into positive. Any doubt with that?
Can you show us that again?
Sorry?
Can you show us this again? Like how'd you get 2,000?
This one?
Yes.
This one is from here.
Oh, okay.
So payment, I calculated the payment. Now my total payment every month is this payment that I have calculated, right? This is the amount I will pay in the mortgage. So I need to calculate that value here. So what I will do, I will block that number because for the next 25 years, this is the amount I'm going to pay them. It's not gonna change. Now I will calculate the interest before principal payment. Interest equals to my, what is it? Tell me. My interest rate that I am earning this period, which is equals to this, into the beginning balance. Press enter. This is the interest rate for this period. Remember to block the interest rate. You will understand why this blocking is very important. I'm not blocking the beginning balance because every month my beginning balance will change, but my interest rate will remain fixed for the next 25 years. So enter. My principal payment is equal to my total payment minus my interest payment. This is my principal payment. My ending balance after next month is basically equals to my beginning balance minus my principal payment, not total payment. If you do total payment, that will be wrong. This is the calculation I did for 1 month. I have to calculate for the next 300 months. Can you do copy down, copy and paste? No. You have to copy. You can either select the next 300 column and just press enter. It will calculate automatically, or just select this, Control C, and remember there will be a plus sign, black plus sign, just click on that. Now remember one thing, your amortization calculation is correct if the ending balance in the bottom is 0. If you see this value to be any number, right, that means your calculation is wrong. And the main wrong happens because if you don't do the cell referencing. Remember, look at here, the payment. Remember, I did cell reference the payment for each month, the interest rate. I had to block the period. So that is about the interest payment. So I did went a little bit overhead of time. Any question with the amortization? Just one thing, 1 minute, I will show the chart. If you are asked to show the chart, select the total payment, principal payment, interest rate and ending balance. Select the whole value, your whole data for the 25 years. Insert, select recommended chart, go all chart, go combo, okay? Under combo, select the one as chart, not just column chart, the second one as stack chart, for the first two as secondary axis, and this is the graph. This shows how ending balance is ending, how over time your interest principal payment increases, and over time your interest rate changes. You can change the title of your chart, amortization schedule. You can change this name of the series. How can you do it? Change chart type or select data. So under chart design, select data, and you can name each one of them. So edit the name. First one is E, which is basically your principal payment. The second one you edit. This is your interest. Okay, and your last one was edit. It is your ending balance. Okay. So now when you created the chart, it shows everything. This is not required. So officially, I have shown how to calculate the amortization table. You can try to play with it and understand how the amortization table works. I'll be here for the next 20 minutes. So if you have question, try to play around if you don't have class. Just for I want you guys to so I covered everything from the so we have FMI certification if you're interested. This is the resources that we have used. If you want to take a picture, take a picture. This is our website. This is the website for the template that you have downloaded. I want you guys to please give your attendance and feedback.